Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
I'm Danae Shanti.
I'm not. I'm Ashleigh Sinclaire.
Ashleigh is here because she is co-hosting today. She's going to interview me, but before we get rolling, I want to give a shout out to New Thought Media Network. Because of them, we get to be here with you. You could see their link on the screen. Please give them some love, send them some donations so they can continue to put on great shows like ours, I would say. So Ashleigh of Ashleigh Sinclaire Productions is an amazing interviewer. We thought it would be fun to have her interview me today for our very first show.
Thanks, Danae.
Welcome.
It's really fun for me to be here today.
Awesome.
Let's just jump in, because there's a lot to cover in a short amount of time today. So you're having your book published, and this is the first airing of this show, Gather, Love, Thrive.
Yeah.
And the name of your book is Wise Inside.
Yes.
Okay. This is a lot.
Yes, it is.
Have you been planning all of this for a long time?
No, actually, it's a fascinating story. Wise Inside is about helping people access their own internal coaching system, and I live my life by that. So what was happening for me, I didn't know I was going to write a book. I didn't know I was going to have an internet show. I just kept hearing from my guidance, the voice that's wise inside, write a book, write a book, write a book. And I was really resistant. I didn't want to write a book because I was just being stubborn. I wasn't sure what topic to write on because I had too many topics. So finally I said, okay, you want me to write a book? Set me up so I could be on sabbatical, totally alone, so I can concentrate. Next day, I was offered a house sitting position, totally alone for 10 days.
So in January, you didn't know any of this was going to happen.
No, the house sitting happened in February and the book came out in 10 days flat. I didn't have a plan to write a book.
Okay. And what is the book about?
So the book is about teaching people how to have confidence that they have a voice inside that's wise, that actually has, if you consider, an eagle's perspective on their life. The bigger picture, where they need to go, who they need to connect with to have their life be easy, so they live in confidence and they have an internal coaching system. The book is all about that, and that formula that teaches that is called the Hero Formula.
Okay, great. And what led you to this work?
Wow. Well, I had a huge awakening in 1987, which changed my life, which we'll talk about another time. However, since then, I've coached thousands of people to awaken their intuition, to live in confidence. I've been a music producer, a public speaker, and I kept doing it for like 30 years, traveled all over the US, and I was wanting to figure out how I can capture all of that work and make it simple and deliver it to people. And I was stuck. I couldn't figure out how to do that. And then I started getting the message, write a book, write a book, write a book. And that's how that came to be.
Okay, so this sounds like you're getting, it's a system to help people touch in with their own guidance, their own wisdom.
Right.
Would you call that also God? Would you call that innate intelligence?
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
And
right.
And I'm curious, were you, because I've heard, lots of stories of other people, like some people early on, they're very connected with that. Were you?
Well, I was, first of all, I believe we are all born naturally attuned, I'll say, to nature. You could say source, spirit, innate intelligence, pure beingness. I like the term God spark, the God spark inside. And there's a story of how that came to me, but that's my favorite. So I believe children are naturally attuned to their freedom, their creativity, their liberation. It's like they're charged up and alive. So they are naturally living from an inspired place. And as adults, we tend to collect things like guilt, shame, self-assessment, and that tends to shut us down. So this whole entire idea of are we born like that, I believe everyone is born with that kind of freedom. And just freedom to express their sparkle inside.
And so I'm hearing, yes, you were connected with that when you were young.
Yes,
and
like
that
all
has
children.
stayed with you your whole life.
Okay, so yes and no, because the term dark night of the soul, you go through a rough time, you stop believing in yourself, you stop believing in your dreams, you kind of go south. And I did a lot of that. I have a very...
How many years?
How long did I do the dark night of the soul?
Where you weren't, where you lost that divine connection.
Yeah. I didn't pay attention to the divine connection because, again, I believe we are that. We're made of that stuff, so we can't lose it, but do we pay attention to it? Well, I came from...
excuse me, it feels like you lose the connection.
It does. It feels like
I agree,
you lose
and
it. Yes.
Yeah.
It always feels like you lose it. And the magic in that is just the idea that we've taken our attention off of it. It didn't go anywhere. The stuff we're made of, that innate intelligence, didn't go anywhere. We've just stopped paying attention to it. Why? Because we get caught up in our personalities, our identities, our roles. And so dark night of the soul for me was a divorce, a disease, my own divorce, a disease I almost died from. Go back a while earlier, growing up in an unhealthy household. How many people get to do that these days? A lot. And just feeling like I wasn't worthy.
Right. So it was just also what gets in the way is trauma.
Trauma.
And bad relationships and conflicts and just...
Yeah. The stuff.
The stuff.
The stuff of life.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so coming back to the hero formula, this is a system, internal coaching system, as you've called it, which I love that.
Yeah.
That helps people kind of get back on the bicycle to getting connected in again so they can hear for themselves what they need to do in situations.
Yes. Yeah. I like to say it this way. If you're a turtle, here's a rock, you're a turtle, you're like, all you see, right, is this rock. I'm stuck, I'm blocked, I can't go anywhere.
Because you're just used to seeing life, your reality, how to deal with things way. Like the way.
Yeah, or
and here's the thing.
What's in your face.
Yeah.
Right? People get distracted by what's in their face, that's all they see. But if you're an eagle, you've got the bigger perspective, right? So that eagle's looking down at the turtle going, yo, buddy, go around the rock, or this way, around the rock, and there's a whole path that's waiting for you. Well, when we get really stuck in our traumas, our woundings, our lack of faith in ourselves, we become very much like the turtle. And we're stuck a lot. That's a really hardy dark night of the soul, when that's all we can see and we're there for years. When we tune into the voice that's wise inside, we literally are in our eagle vision, able to see the bigger picture of our lives, because our soul is telling our personality, hey, here's your purpose, here are your gifts, here's what you can do, go this way, connect with these people, let me direct you a little bit. And once we get that inner direction, we're good.
Can you share with us a couple of stories of how you've seen the hero formula work in other people's lives?
Yeah, I definitely can, because I've shared it with a lot of people. So 2 quick stories. One of them is more people would relate to, I think. So my book publisher fosters dogs. And she's so good at it. She just loves them up. And yet the woman at the fostering place is concerned about their pets and wanting to make sure when they're adopted, they're well cared for. So Maria, the book publisher, was telling me, you know, I did the hero formula. At first, when I would bring animals home, I would get calls from the woman at the center, send me video footage. I want to know that the dogs are okay. And Maria would say, well, at first, that was annoying for me. My buttons were pushed. Why is she checking up on me? She said, but then I did the hero formula. And I realized that the woman is just following up, making sure that these beautiful fur people are safe and okay where they are. She said, all of a sudden it dawned on me, it's an act of love. And instead of getting impatient with that woman, I wrote her back and said, oh yes, they're doing beautifully. I'll be happy to share footage with you. Look how happy they are. And she said, I saw her from a completely different place and dropped my own defensiveness, which was coming from my childhood of people checking up on me, to get present in the moment as two adult women just doing right by the dogs.
So it was a real turnaround.
Real turnaround for her, like right in the moment. She just told me this a couple of nights
Beautiful.
ago. The other one is a little more dramatic, and you know, it's tricky being alive these days. There's a lot of challenge going on, and I was working with a young man in his early 20s, and he was very suicidal. And how I got to work with him is his mom didn't know what to do for him. She kept saying, you know, he might kill himself any day. And so she asked him to come do a session with me. And in the session, I just asked him, I took him through the hero formula, which I won't do right now. But the three basic things was, I said to him, what do you have to live for? What do you want? What's the most important thing? What would turn you on to make you want to stay alive? He just didn't believe that what he wanted he could have, right? Again, the turtle at the stone, I don't see my way through. He wanted his girlfriend back, he wanted his job back, and he wanted a surgery on his knee because he loves sports. And up to that moment, all those doors were closed. I said, okay, you're clear on what you want, that's what you want. Your homework tonight is to stay alive. And to do this work, I prescribed some work for him. I said, and call me in the morning. And if you decide to kill yourself tomorrow, that's on you. That's not on me. That's on you. But give me till the morning and just see what happens. And I gave him some very clear directives, which are part of the guts of the hero formula. He calls the next morning. I'm like, so you're alive. You called me. He's like, yeah. He's like, you're going to think I'm lying to you. I'm like, no, give me a try. He said, I called my girlfriend. I told her my truth. I told her I was wrong. She took me back. I'm like, one, cha-ching. I called my boss. I had to rat out the guy who did the dirty deed that got me in trouble that I said because I was protecting him, and I told him the truth. Got my job back. Went to my parents and I said, straight from my heart, I need the surgery because this is what it'll mean to me, and you're the only ones who can give authority for it, because he was still under 21. They said yes. He said, I got all three things I wanted. I went, okay. So your life is worth living? He's like, yep. I'm like, so you're going to kill yourself? He's like, nope. I said, will you ever threaten to kill yourself again? He's like, I got a power tool now. I have no reason to.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a major dramatic turnaround.
Wow. What I see is that this system, once it's really in tuned with yourself, that it would bring a lot of like clarity and confidence. Yes. And maybe even safety to people to help them navigate their life.
I love that you said that, because feeling unsafe is a red flag. So for me, I have a really stubborn personality. I also have, because of the trauma I grew up with, I have a lot of insecurity, right? Like I second guess myself. I look at other people like they look so much smarter and brighter than me that I make them the authority, right? And then I start listening to their ideas for me. When the idea that was given to me by my own spirit, my own God spark, my own wise inside voice, I have the habit of setting that aside to want to follow someone who looks like they're a better authority figure than my own internal authority. So for me, this whole entire formula has changed my life to give me the confidence to listen to what's going on in here, respect the contributions of others, and weigh it against my own wisdom.
I'm loving this.
I was never good at that, ever.
And so I'm curious, because you're stepping into a lot. You're stepping into a whole different stage of your life in many ways. Being an author, being a speaker, doing that more than the one-on-one coaching.
Being 60.
Exactly. Have you been using it through this whole process? Like, do you currently still use this process?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
big time.
Okay. So I think what would be a great idea right now is for us to demonstrate, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
I will guide you a little bit through the hero formula.
Great.
For something maybe with things that happened in getting you here.
Yeah. For me to be able to sit in this chair right now with you for this very first show, I had to go through it in the last few days. Like, my gremlins were like, you're not you're not doing
Okay,
this.
great. Okay, so let's just do this. There's 7 steps.
Yep.
Okay, let's just rock into the 7 steps.
Rock it.
Okay, first step is, who are you in the moment?
Right. So I'm going to refer to last night because that's when all this happened. So who I was in the moment last night was, I felt unsafe, confused, like I didn't know what was going on with the filming. I couldn't find my center. I was that turtle, and I was blocked by my own confrontation. Who do you think you are to do this? How dare you step out on a stage and have your own show? And, so what, you wrote a book, who's going to care? Like, all of my critical side was in my face, and I kept feeling unsafe, and that was the big clue. I was uptight and unsafe last night.
Oh, okay, so that was your own internal trigger of go to the formula.
Yes. Well, and you would think that I would think that, right? I didn't. I was so cranky. I sat down for a minute, and my guidance comes in. The voice that's wise inside comes up and says, do the hero formula. You need it.
Wow.
Right?
Okay. So that's who you are, confused, feeling unsafe. Those are big for stepping into next stage of your life. What's the predicament?
The predicament was I didn't know how I was going to get out of that mood. I didn't know how I would find my center, how I would be on, how I'd be able to deliver some really valuable stuff to other people when I was so blindsided by my own insecurity and lack of self-worth. So my predicament was, I'm uptight now. I'm really afraid I'm going to be uptight when we're doing the studio work tomorrow.
Right now.
Right now.
This.
I was afraid I'd be sitting here in a stew.
Okay. And so then you ask for guidance. That's step 3.
Step 3, I asked the universe for help. So I sat down and I said, okay, I need help. I'm feeling unsafe and insecure. I don't want to continue to feel like this. I don't want to wake up like this. Universe, can you help me? God, spark, divine source, innate intelligence, voice of wisdom, please help.
Great. And then the 4th step is you receive.
I receive guidance. And so I just want to frame this for a minute. I've been at this since 1987. Any muscle you use is going to be strong and you'll be adept at it. So in my particular case, I get my guidance lightning fast. So that's not true for everyone. We all build muscles over time. So I sat down, and this is exactly what I was told. You're in a story that you're unworthy and that you don't get to do what you want to do because when you were a child, you never got enough reflection of your brilliance. So you don't believe in yourself right now. You're lost because you've decided that everyone else's experience all around you is more important than your inner voice. And let me just say, I drew a couple of people to me who have vast experience in production and TV shows in Hollywood, and I just made them the be-all and end-all of the answers for me. So my guidance was pointing at you've taken someone else's authority over your own inner authority, so you have a lack of confidence, and you're not listening to what you need to do to feel safe and be genuine. And that's the whole point of your show, to be genuine. And I said, okay, what else? And my guidance said, so on the show, your very first show, you actually need to expose yourself. That this is what you had to go through to take your seat. Don't let the shame win. Let your courage win. You could take the shame with you, feeling embarrassed, and show up in courage. So those are the choices my guidance gave me.
So that was step 5.
Yeah, which of those would I like to follow?
Okay, so you have all those choices.
All those choices.
Okay, the next step is action. What steps
Right.
are you going to choose to go forward?
So your guidance gives you all these choices. You get to choose out of that smorgasbord what resonates for you. Well, in my case, all of that resonated for me. So I chose to take all of that as, yeah, good stuff. I'll work with it. The action I took was to set up some notes for myself to say, I am worthy of being able to put myself first and put my dreams out there. Whether I rocket it or not is beside the point. I'm worthy of taking a stand for giving it a go. I'm going to remember that the vulnerability and the rawness of my own insecurity is worthy, and I'm going to talk about that. And to remember that me following the hero formula for myself is the voice that's wise inside. It is my inner authority, and I am to follow that before following anyone else's authority. So with those choices, those are the actions that I took. I took a mental action to reestablish my ground, and I took physical action to remember what I wanted to talk about.
Great. And then your last step is the results.
Yeah. The results is interesting because there's internal and external results, right? So what's visible, what I'm in touch with right now is the internal result. I sit before you completely relaxed. I'm not being overwhelmed by shame or insecurity or unworthiness. Those qualities are in the background in my personality. I'm sitting here in my center, fully exposed, being totally real, and absolutely at peace that I am having the courage to step forward and do this. You know, and to do it with you is so lovely for me. So that's an internal result. The external result is going to be, we have our first show taped, and I get to share it with other people. Hopefully there's something in it to lift them up and encourage them.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
And I just want to highlight something, because I've been with you a little bit in this journey. And I was there when the Hollywood producer came on, and the journalist of 30 years came on.
Yeah.
And I watched you. You jumped trains.
Yeah.
And then you were going on that, which I understood. I think, you know, I totally get that.
Yeah.
And I just want to acknowledge you got to a certain point, and you just, probably it was again that uncomfortability, there was tension, there was angst, whatever there was going on inside. And you went, whoa. I'm sure you applied the hero formula and went, wow, yeah, that's really serving, you know, my ego, my let's do, where you were giving up your vision for what they were seeing.
Yeah.
And I just want to acknowledge you stopped it and went, no, I'm getting back on the track I was on before.
I'd love to share with you a little detail about how that happened exactly, because I finished writing the book. In 24 hours flat, I was invited by Rev Brez to do my own show on New Thought Media Network, out of nowhere. Within 24 hours of that, an email came across inviting brand new authors who are specifically focusing on spiritual well-being, who might be able to have a female lead. We're looking to turn those books into scripts for movies and shows for Netflix. So all this happened at the same time. Now remember, my guidance kept saying, write your book, everything will unfold from there. Well, I'm clueless. What does that mean, everything will unfold? All I know is I don't feel like writing a book, right? My eagle vision understood other doors will open if you just write your book. I wasn't thinking that way. I was just like, I don't feel like writing a book, you know, one of those. So what happened was I was sitting with my fiance Lloyd, and we were going through the letter of new authors turning their works into scripts to turn them into a movie, and I was all getting caught up in that shiny bauble, right? And I had this Hollywood producer by my side and the whole 9 yards, and I noticed the tension building in my body. And I know for me, stress is a threat to my life, like literally because of an autoimmune disease. Stress cannot exist with me. And so I took a break from all the excitement, and I went away and I sat in a parking lot waiting for my lunch to be ready at the restaurant, and I did the hero formula. And in the hero formula, the conclusion was, I need to be well grounded, above and beyond anything else, calm, healthy, my health is first, and well grounded. I got that message, it felt congruent, I opened my eyes, and this truck pulls up next to me and parks right next to me, and across the body of the truck it says, you'll see it here on the screen, well grounded. So, wow. So like this is my life. Yeah. I get literal signs from the universe, and I believe that we all do. Are we paying attention? Do we even know to look for them?
Right.
So that's what changed it up for me. Again, clear message from inside, and for me, a validating sign in the physical plane that said, you're not making this stuff up. This is really happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Like it doesn't get any clearer than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who is this best for?
Yeah. You mean people who would use the formula?
Yeah, who would derive the most benefit?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'd say anyone who wants to be more confident in making decisions for themselves. People who, you know, if you're spending money going to psychics and readers, like I've done thousands of readings, you're spending money on people like me, don't do it! You know, just learn that your own authority and your own guidance is accessible. So people who want to stop spending money on other people to tell them who to be and what to do, and people who want to be able to make decisions with clarity and confidence and know that they're a trustworthy place. They can count on themselves to show up for themselves and do good by themselves and everyone else.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited to watch you launch.
Thank you.
And be a part of it.
Yeah.
And where can people find more of these shows?
Yeah. Okay. So we want people to, well, hopefully, I'm going to talk this way for a minute. Hopefully, you'll continue watching, and you want to watch the shows at New Thought Media Network. They have a Facebook page and a YouTube page, and that information is scrolling across the screen right now. And also, if people want more free goodies and support or want to get their hands on the book, they could go to my website. Also on the screen, DanaeShantiThrive.live. And I think that's everything we need to share. Thank you so much for doing this with me, our very first time out.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Awesome. All right, well, we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.